Hello everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Tapesh Kumar. First of all, a big thank you to all of you who've come up from a lot of places. I met a few of you outside. Big thank you to all of you for showing up. So just a little bit about myself before we get started. So I'm Tapesh Kumar and currently 29. I'm an airline captain by profession. I'm also a YouTuber, content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call it. And recently married also, by the way. Some of you might know her, Prachi. Okay, as far as this talk goes, Winds of Change, I wanted this talk to be more of an impromptu, from the heart, kind of talk. I did not prepare anything for it, not because I'm a lazy ass, that's not the scene. It was mainly because I just wanted it to be a very raw talk, which just comes out of my heart. So, Winds of Change, when it comes to me, I thought I would bring it up in a way that how did I go from being a very average, a very introverted, a very normal kid, the kind of person you don't know exists in the school or in your college. They're just there, but they're not in your eyes. They're not the front benchers, they're not the back benchers. Coming from there to probably giving a TEDx talk to all of you. How did I get from there to here is the story I'm going to tell you guys. And let's see. Okay, so the story starts somewhere in 2008. So I'm in class 10th at that time. And literally just a very thin, lanky, very introverted guy who couldn't talk. I couldn't look someone in the eyes straight and talk to them, especially girls. So, but somehow in class 10th, I did manage to get some good marks. 93.2 I remember. Life mein pehli baar 90 se upar aaye the marks. So that's where the problem started actually, those marks. So like a lot of you would relate, a lot of you must be engineers here. So 12th में या 10th में अच्छे मार्क्स आ जाए, पेरेंट्स को लगता है कि हमारा बच्चा IIT करेगा, डॉक्टर बनेगा. That's how it goes. So that's how it was with my family as well. It was unanimously decided, with me being the exception, कि हमारा बच्चा IIT करेगा. ठीक है. So I was put into a coaching for class 11th and 12th, and obviously I wasn't interested. I'll be very honest about it. I totally was not interested in it. At that time, I actually wanted to play professional football, which I actually did while I was in class 11th. I played for a small club in Delhi, and my grades tumbled. In class 11th, I went from 93 in like 10th to 54 in class 11th. And obviously parents were like, nah, bacha, ye nahi chal payega. So I was thrown out of the football thing and full time into studies. So the schedule would be something like, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and study for like 2.5 hours, go to school, come back from school, study again, about an hour of break in the evening, and then again you're back to studies, sleep. Same schedule every day for the next 2 years. Now the problem was I wasn't interested in doing my padhai wala part. So I'm not promoting ki don't study. If you're interested in it, do it. But I wasn't. And as a result, what I would do was ki open my book, sit and just stare at the book, write down something, make drawings. वो क्लासमेट की पूरी नोटबुक में मैंने वो साथ पेन चलाते हैं ना पीछे, वो सबको कलराइज कर देते हैं, वो सारे काम कर दिए थे. And basically it was just a period wherein I would sit for hours at end every day and just not do anything at all. Eventually, obviously, imtihan ki ghadi aayi. I reached my class 12 boards and didn't score really well. Not going to tell you the marks, but didn't score really well, obviously. And I also gave my IIT ka JEE wala exam. Us time pe it used to be a single exam. And my AIEEE rank was, I think, probably in 5 digits, something like that. IIT wala exam, as you can guess, obviously I didn't make it. Nowhere close, I was sure. And as a result, again it was unanimously decided कि Tapesh will drop 1 year after school and study again for the entire year, give the exam next year. And in this time what happened was कि we shifted to Bangalore. So earlier we were in Delhi and we shifted to Bangalore back then. So in Bangalore, totally new place, no friends, no school now, no coaching now. And it's just basically me and that book which I don't study for the entire day. Again, from 5 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock, minus all the fun part of the day, the school mein hota tha. And that resulted in a very weird sort of phase for me, wherein I kind of went into depression. Never obviously told it to anyone because, it's a big taboo. And I'm from Haryana. So Haryana ke parents ke liye depression does not exist. Mental problems don't exist. You can't have them. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. So ढंग से सोया नहीं है रात को types. So that 1 year, from 2010 to 2011 March, I would just not do anything, and that resulted in a sort of depression, to a point where it even got somewhat suicidal. Like, I had suicidal thoughts in my head back then. And I was just a little kid. I was, 17 years, 18 years back then. And I didn't know how to deal with it, obviously, because उस time पे internet इतना था नहीं. Plus, obviously, I didn't have a phone. And parents you couldn't talk to, friends I didn't have. So that 1 year of life was big struggle, actually, wherein I would just be with myself. I started writing poetry back then. I don't know, जो परेशान होता था मैं poetry शुरू कर देता somehow. So I started writing some poems, which I'll probably tell you guys someday. So at the end of this, by the end of this 1 year, I obviously wasn't studying again. But this time I realized कि यार, now it's getting a point where either I'll not live, like I'll probably be dead, I'll kill myself, or I ought to do something about it. I finally developed that sense. I finally developed the guts to tell my parents कि whatever you're making me do is something I do not want to do. I want to do something else in life. So obviously footballer by that time was not exactly an option, because I was about 18, 19 and I hadn't played in the last 1 year. So the next best option which randomly came to my head, very randomly, was कि pilot बनूंगा. So I still remember the date, on 17th of March 2011. My life literally changed on that day. So in the morning, dad's getting ready for office, mom's cooking food. So I walk up to them, I'm like, मेरे से नहीं हो रही IIT वाईटी की पढ़ाई. And mind you, this is after 1 year of drop and 1 month to go for the exam, for the IIT वाला exam. And I'm like, यार मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And my parents are obviously, you know how Indian parents are. पहले तो अच्छे से पिटाई हुई, 1-1.5 घंटा पहले तो अच्छे से सूता गया मेरे को. उसके बाद eventually they were like कि ठीक है पायलट नहीं बनना, रोना धोना हो गया सबका. And then they were like अच्छा फिर क्या करना है. At that point I just randomly said पायलट बनना है, out of nowhere. I didn't have any plans about it earlier, I'd never thought of it. I just randomly said कि पायलट बनना है. And my parents were like, ये कहाँ से आया, that's new. तो बड़ा बोले कि हाँ ठीक है बस यही बनना है, हो गया decide. And my parents were obviously very skeptical, because being a pilot requires a lot of money, and I come from a very middle class family. So arranging all of that money would obviously be a problem. So parents were a little skeptical initially, but then something very nice happened. My father called up my Dadaji, and he was like कि तपेश कह रहा है कि उसे पायलट बनना है, तो what should we do? Like, what do you say? And my Dadaji said something really amazing, and he was like कि तपेश अगर कह रहा है उसको खेती भी करनी है ना, if he wants to be a farmer, तू उसका support कर. And that's what set it for my dad. From that point onwards, he was totally supportive of this decision of being a pilot. So after that, life literally changed. So I was, before 17th of March 2011, it was a very depressed, lanky little kid who was super introverted. And after that day, things started changing a lot. A lot of people, especially the relatives at that time, were very skeptical, as they always are. They were like कि हाँ नहीं हुआ एडमिशन, इसके बस की नहीं था, and he couldn't do it. पायलट बनना तो आसान काम है, कोई भी बन सकता है, पैसे लगाओ कोई भी बन जाता है. तो that kind of stuff. But I took it in a way which actually helped me out, and I took it as a negative motivation कि ठीक है, a lot of these people are against me. They are speaking up कि इसके कुछ बस की नहीं है. So I'll probably show them. I'll show them how it's done, and I'll do well in this field. And once I joined aviation, I actually fell in love with it. It was amazing. It was something which I didn't know I wanted to do, but I tried it, and I just literally fell in love with it. And because I was in love with it, I actually worked hard for it. I gave it my everything. So from that day onwards, from 17th of March, for the next about 1 year, till 31st of March 2012, I finished off my CPL in about 11 months, and which was at that time amongst the fastest CPL anyone had ever got in India. And I cleared all my exams in the first attempt. I finished up my flying super fast. My batchmates were still like at about 20 odd hours, and I had finished my entire CPL back then. And thereafter, after I got my CPL, by that time I had started developing a little more sense of how to talk to people, of how to deal with things on my own. Eventually, after I got my license, I went for my type rating on the Boeing 737, and luckily enough in 2013 I got a job with Jet Airways. Because I loved the entire thing, I loved what I was doing, I worked hard for it, and I ended up topping the entire selection process of Jet Airways. Got selected with Jet, And from there on, life has been a pretty good ride. I started off my YouTube channel, which is called Boeing Boy, and that channel actually helped me grow a lot. It helped me become a little more extroverted, a little more, able to talk to people. I could look at a girl and talk to her face. So that's about the Boeing Boy thing. Eventually, Jet was shut down. I'm sure all of you know it. And currently, I'm with AirAsia as a captain on the A320. So the moral of this little story of mine is basically two things. Winds of change don't usually come on their own. You've got to make a very radical decision in your life, which would, if you're not happy with wherever you are right now, you've got to make a radical decision. It might be a very unknown territory to you. You might have never charted it. You might have never even thought of it. But if you don't try, you would never get to know what you exactly want or where you exactly could be or what your true potential is. Secondly, रिश्तेदारों की मत सुनो, parents की मत सुनो, and see what you want to do in life, and according to that, chart your life forward. And that's about it. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here.